I'm Janet Clark, and you are listening to the Sales Matchmaker Podcast. Hello, it is Janet Clark, your host on the Sales Matchmaker Podcast. I am the Sales Matchmaker, and today we are going to dig into the 5 preventable mistakes that may be causing you to feel like you have a closing problem when in fact it's really much bigger than that. And look, no matter whether you're a coach, a consultant, or a high-ticket salesperson, if you aren't closing the sales that you think you should be closing, it's most likely that you are making these 5 mistakes. And once you fix them, you're going to be amazed at how your results are going to improve. Now, I'm not going to tell you that it's simple. It may take a little bit of work on your part, but I will tell you that there is no market and no niche that you can't dominate if you fix these 5 things. Now, part of the reason why I really want to share these with you is because I've made these 5 mistakes myself. Now, when my business partner, Tobin, and I decided that we were going to launch SalesMap, we had a little bit of a rocky start, as do most people, right, when they launch a new program. And so we started to discover ways that we could overcome some of the things that weren't working all that well. And it really boiled down to 5 mistakes that we were making that we were able to fix. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you each of those mistakes, and then I'll tell you what you can do to fix the mistake, and then I'm going to share with you exactly what we did with our SalesMap program to overcome and fix the same mistake. So let's dive in. Mistake number 1 is you're not targeting a specific ideal client. Now, I'm always harping on this, right? And here's why. Because I talk to coaches, consultants, agency owners every day. And when I ask somebody the question, who is your target client? And the answer that they give me starts with anyone who, I know they're in trouble. Because as counterintuitive as it seems, it feels like we should be able to help anyone, right? And we should have a broad base of people that we can help, because that way the market is bigger for us. It's actually the exact opposite. So my first coach taught me this many years ago, and it didn't really sink in the way that it should have. But the expression she used was broad is broke. And I kind of got it, but it wasn't until I really started identifying and narrowing my niche that it started to really make sense. Now, a lot of you know that I work with Ryan Levesque, and he's my favorite $10 million coach. His company is called the Ask Method, and he has an expression that says the riches are in the niches. And so I know that he gets it, and I totally recognize that what he's saying is right. So how are you going to fix this? Well, you have to get specific about who you are going to help. And you must target a specific person with a specific need. So let me tell you what we did in SalesMap that really made it work for us. So we decided that we were going to gear this program not to anyone who is a coach or a consultant and wants to scale their business, but specifically to coaches and consultants who are offering a high-ticket, high-transformation program, who are in the 6-figure range in their business already, and who have decided that they are ready to bring on a salesperson or a team. So do you see how specific that is? So the number 1 thing that you need to do to fix your business is to make sure that you know specifically who you are going to help and how you are going to help them. Now, number 2, which comes obviously on the heels of identifying your perfect ideal client, is the mistake that you're making is that your offer is not on track. It's not irresistible. What I mean by that is, look, you're not the only one who's targeting that specific niche of client and vying for that person's business. And your competitors are out there, and they're doing everything that they can to make their offer very appealing. So you'll have to go one better if you want to compete with them. So you have to know what your competitors are offering, and then you have to build the value into your offer to make it irresistible. So how you do that is you craft an offer that appeals to both logic and emotions. And so it's going to make sense for your prospective client to look at that offer and make it almost a no-brainer for them. Something that they're going to say in their mind, man, I'd be crazy to pass that up. So what we did with SalesMap is we looked at what the competitors were doing, right? We knew that there are thousands and thousands of commission-only high-ticket closers out there. We also know that another thing that a lot of people are doing out there is they're running these sales management companies where they will train and manage a sales team for the coach. And they obviously charge an ongoing fee for that. We also know that there are recruiters who will place a salesperson with somebody for a fee. So what we did was we made a program that was a combination of all of those things, so that we created an irresistible offer that they don't have to choose one or the other. And then we added an ROI guarantee. So that makes our offer super compelling. Because here's the thing, did you know that the average cost in time and money to recruit, interview, hire, and train a salesperson is $25,000, and that only 1 of 5 salespeople make it? So realistically, it can cost a coach $125,000 to bring on one salesperson. Now, that doesn't even take into account the lost opportunity cost of not having a salesperson on board, because that person could be generating $20,000 a month in sales. So there's another $240,000 in lost revenue. That is a huge number. So we know that if we can put a program together that eliminates all of that cost for our coaches and consultants and recovers that lost revenue opportunity, then we're adding huge value for them. And at a $20,000 or $25,000 price tag, that is a no-brainer offer for them, especially when there's an ROI guarantee attached to it. So you can do the same thing, but you have to be really creative in how you put your offer together, and then make sure that it's more valuable than anything else out there. Okay, mistake number 3 is you don't have a lead generation and a qualifying process. Recently, one of my colleagues actually did an informal study in his Facebook group, and he surveyed over 100 coaches and consultants. And he was looking to figure out where they got their clients from, like what was the source of their clients. And you're probably not going to be surprised when I tell you that 43% of these coaches said that their business comes from referrals. Now look, we all love referrals, but if you are depending on referrals to run your business, you are going to be on an income roller coaster. Because let's face it, you cannot control, predict, or rely on referrals every single month on a consistent basis. You want them to be the cherry on top, not the core way that you bring in your revenue every single month. So how do you fix this problem? Well, you need a consistent, predictable flow of leads and a system to manage those leads nurture them, and qualify them. So let me tell you how we did this in our Sales Map program. We created a process on LinkedIn to consistently connect with and add 10 new contacts into conversation every single day. So not only just adding them into our database, but we're also starting conversations with these people every single day through personal outreach. So this is not an automated set it up and let it, rip, because actually LinkedIn doesn't allow that, and they will shut you down if you use automation. So we do that through personal outreach. Now, obviously, this isn't scalable for a coach or consultant once they get to a certain level in their business, but it is scalable if we add a salesperson into the mix. So that's what we did. We will assign a salesperson to work with our clients and do their prospecting and their sales calls for them. Now this is scalable because they can add as many salespeople as they want, and to the level that they can handle new clients, they can continue to add salespeople to the mix. So mistake number 4 is you don't have a sales system in place that allows you to educate, nurture, and follow up with your prospects in a timely manner and in an efficient manner. Now, here's another staggering statistic. 80% of sales require follow-up calls after the first call, and the number of follow-up calls is 5. So 80% of sales are made after 5 follow-up calls beyond the first meeting. And here's another amazing statistic. 44% of salespeople never follow up after 1 attempt. And it gets even more astronomical as the number of attempts goes up. But if you knew that it would take 5 attempts to actually get 80% of your sales, wouldn't you want your salespeople to continually do that follow-up and not be in that 44% that actually never follow up even more than once? So you fix that by making sure that you have an automated system, which would be a CRM, that will help track where the prospects are in the process. And you also need to make sure that you have a sales framework that will bring those prospects through a conversation, a heart-centered conversation, where they can be led into a decision-making process. So a clear structure will keep you and your salespeople on track to monitor where people are in the process and make sure that those follow-up calls are actually happening. So how do we do this at SalesMap? Well, we created a customized CRM system, and we built in all of those steps that move our prospects through from the first point of contact that we have with them on social media, which in our case is LinkedIn, right through all of the follow-up attempts that we need to make after the sales call. And we actually have 8 attempts built in. And we're going to also share with our clients our HeartFlow sales framework so that when they do have these conversations with clients and they do get on sales calls, they can make a deep connection, which really establishes trust during the sales call. And all of that is done in a systematic way. So finally, mistake number 5 is that you don't find and retain top sales talent. Now look, when you hire a salesperson, we've already said that there's a 20% chance that that person's going to stick, which means that there's an 80% chance that they're not. And 60 to 80% of the reason why salespeople leave is due to the lack of connection with the leadership and the incompetence of the leader. So how are you going to fix this? Well, Richard Branson says you shouldn't be looking for people slipping up. You shouldn't be looking to criticize people. You should be looking for all the good things that people do and praising those things. And you do that by having strong leadership skills and strong communication skills. So in SalesMap, what we do is we make sure that we help our clients to excel in sales and leadership. And one of our partners is actually somebody who is a master at this. She is just awesome at sales management and sales leadership. So we have her helping our clients to establish what are their goals, what are their values, and what are the compensation plans that they want to attach to their big dream for building their business. We teach our clients how to lead their team to fulfilling those objectives. So I wanted to say objections because that's what we think of in sales as salespeople, right? But truly, we want our salespeople on the same page as the leader, and that can only happen through good leadership skills and communications. So you do that through providing good feedback, coaching on sales activities, and being able to have reporting, which we get through our CRM so that we have some way to track the progress that the salesperson is making, which is good for the salespeople because they can see their progress and you as a leader can see their progress. And so what does that do? It reduces sales turnover. So that's it. Now you know the 5 preventable mistakes and how to fix them. And as always, I'd love to hear your feedback. It's always fun to hear from my listeners, and I encourage you to reach out to me, janet@thefreedomshift.com, and chat with me. Tell me what you think. Ask me questions. And seriously, the only reason I do this podcast is to help you improve your sales. So whether or not you're selling your own program or whether you're a salesperson selling a program, I want to help you to be better and to share with you things that I've learned on my journey to high-ticket sales. And so I'm always open to chatting and sharing my ideas with you. So until next week, happy selling and bye for now. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Sales Matchmaker Podcast. To hear more episodes, visit us at www.thesalesmatchmaker.com.